Hey guys, Ogalbina here, bringing you guys our BBR, I almost said AP Little Cup, BBR Season 2 Week 11 battle against Lieutenant Gold in his Los Angeles Aegislash. Now, he has a very threatening team. Definitely go check out his side of the video down below. I believe he has already uploaded this. Unfortunately, this is going up a day late for me. I think this is the only game that I've gotten up late this season, so I do apologize. I just had a lot going on yesterday, and I had a couple videos already going up on the channel, so I asked him if I could push it back a day, and he was gracious enough to say, yes, you can. Begrudgingly, he was not happy about it, I could tell. So I appreciate him nonetheless. Thank you, Mid. Thank you very much. But nonetheless, I am recording this team builder after the fact. As you can probably tell by like my audio difference in my mic, I got a new mic in between actually playing this game and now. But at least you get to hear the smooth crispness before you hear, you know, my wonky, very pixelated and like granulated voice in the actual battle. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump into the team builder. Before I do, though, I do want to mention that only a good 40 to 50% of you guys that are watching the videos each and every day are actually subscribed to the channel. So if you want to do me a huge favor, go ahead and hit that sub button for me. It's completely free. It's really easy, and you can always change your mind later if you're not enjoying the content. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the team builder. This is a very long and very interesting battle, so I want to get you guys to it. Now, our team, if you did forget, even though it is not in the correct order, we'll see if we can remember the order that it usually goes in. We have our team consists of Zarude, Reuniclus, Cinchino, Clefairy, Doublade, Kingdra, Pelipper, Silvally, Stunfisk, and Toxcroak. I started trying to remember the order of it's usually in, but it's in alphabetical the way I pulled it up on accident. Oops. While our opponent's team consists of Aegislash, Basculin, Drapion, Galvantula, Komodo, Mr. Mime Galar, Mudsdale, Rotom Heat, Serena, and Wigglytuff. Now, biggest threat right off the bat, Aegislash is very scary for my team. I do not have a good switch into Aegislash whatsoever. Offensive Ag runs me a new one, so we're going to have to be careful about how we pivot around that. I think my main goal against that thing is to check it offensively, in all honesty, so we'll have to be careful. Basculin can be a big threat under rain, in all honesty. It can be very annoying for me to deal with under rain. Komodo, when it sets up, it's scary, man. My fairy type is a Clefairy, which isn't the bulkiest thing in the world and can definitely, get taken advantage of by a lot of his team via the whole Drapion chilling right there, the Aegislash, a bunch of things like that. Definitely very scary. Galvantula, always really good versus rain, really good versus me in particular. And then Mr. Mime Galar, another thing, very good against rain just because Freeze Dry is such a free prospect versus my team when my steel type is a Doublade. And then Rotom Heat is actually very scary versus me. Back when we played Liv, she actually still had this on her team before she ended up dropping it and making her revisions for her new team and things like that. And this thing is very scary versus me. Last time I ended up losing to it because it was a sub Nasty Claw set and I just didn't have anything to break it sub with my Stunfisk. This time we will not be making that mistake and hopefully able to, take it home in this matchup in particular. But let's go ahead and jump into the team that we brought. First up, we have our Kingdra rocking out with the Life Orb, Swift Swim is its ability, Surf, Draco Meteor, Hurricane, and Hydro Pump. We have max special attack, max speed with Force for Def, and a timid nature. This Pokemon breaks an absolute hole through my opponent. They do not have switch into our stats with Hurricane whatsoever. Hydro Pump is if we need that big oomph type damage on the Aegislash. Surf is a much more safe and reliable option. Draco is just to drop a Draco on my opponent's team. That Fairy type is a Wigglytuff, which doesn't want to take a Surf, that's for damn sure. And then Hurricane is honestly for things like Serena, just to hit them super effectively. Komodo if it's weakened and we don't want to drop our special attack and things like that, honestly. So, obviously very solid in its own right. Kingdra does amazingly in a wall-breaking role in this game going in. Next up, we have our Pelipper rocking out with the Damp Rock, Drizzle its ability, Scald Hurricane, Defog, and Roost. EVs-wise, we got 156 HP, 4 defense, 4 for def, 172 special attack, and 172 speed with a modest nature. This is a very offensive Pelipper, but we didn't really need it to check anything in particular. This thing is here to do damage. It's here to get up raid for a lot of turns, but also simultaneously pressure the hell out of my opponent because they do not have good switch-ins to Water plus Flying Stab whatsoever. I couldn't really go Scarf or anything like that just because it didn't lock into many moves. Didn't really want to go Choice. I figured Damp Rock would be great just because it lets me keep up my range for a long time to, obviously get off stronger Scalds and more accurate Hurricanes. And it also supports my Kingdra a little bit better because we are not rocking out with U-Turn on this. I want to defog just because webs are an option. And webs can be scary, so I wanted something to potentially be able to remove them if we position ourselves correctly. Next up, we have our Silvally. We're rocking out with a Silvally Fairy this week. Fairy Memory, obviously, Arceus system as its ability, Multi-Attack, Crunch, Toxic, and Parting Shot. EVs wise, we got max 248 HP actually, 76 attack, 4 speed def, and then 180 speed with a Jolly Nature. This thing is here to check Komodo. Clefairy is super bad this game. This Pokemon isn't like amazing here, but it's much better. Crunch is to hit the Aegislash, at least chip it, so it's not just subbing in our face if that potentially comes down to that. Toxic is to catch things like the Rotom Heat, like the Mudsdale, like the Wigglytuff, things that can switch in on us pretty easily and chip them down like that. And then Parting Shot is obviously to keep up momentum so that if we don't have to stay in and crunch the Aegislash or hard switch out on the Aegislash, we can do so if we play aggressively enough. Next up, we have our Reuniclus rocking out with the Life Orb, Magikarp's ability, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Trick Room, and Recover. EVs wise, we got 236 HP, 236 special attack, and 36 Spadef with a quiet nature. Now, if you look at my opponent's team and you look at their team outside of Drapion, they actually just lose to this set. Like, this set goes crazy versus them. Psychic Shadow Ball hits the entire team neutrally or super effectively and punches a giant hole. We can recover and still work as a nice defensive pivot in this game with, you know, obviously not taking any hazard chip and being able to recover up. Things like that. And then Trick Room is obviously to just control the speed. We should underspeed pretty much everything on my opponent's team, which is very nice. So if we can eliminate that Drapion, I think this Pokemon is a very good potential win con in the end game. Then next up, we have our Zarude. We're rocking off the Citrus Berry, Leaf Guard's ability, Darkest Lariat, Acrobatic Substitute, and a Bulk Up. 116 HP, 204 attack, and 188 speed with a Jolly nature. Now this thing is here. Honestly, is a great endgame potential win con in itself. This king can substitute and bulk up on a lot. Substitute on an Aegislash trying to either King Shield or switch out. Start bulking up, and the Acrobatics is obviously for the Komodo. Now, if we get up to +1 and I believe, I don't know if it's before we lose our Citrus or after, but I know we can 2-hit KO Komodo pretty easy. We will not be set up fodder for that thing. I refuse. After last time I played him in the IPL and he smashed me with a sub-belly jump Komodo because I was a little bit too passive versus it. I want to make sure I have outs versus it. And if we can chip down the Rotom and things like that, this set also just goes absolutely nuts. We also need to chip down Drapion, but we can also use this as our way of chipping down Drapion, because after we start bulking up, the poison jabs honestly aren't doing that much to us, and we can start acrobaticsing through this thing and, you know, really going to town on his team with Zarude here, which is obviously super nice. And then lastly, we have an Assault Vest Stunfisk. GCS rocking out the Assault Vest. Static is its ability, Discharge, Earth Power, Scald, and Sludge Wave. EVs wise, we get 228 HP, 140 special attack, and 140 Spadef with a modest nature. This thing is here to check mainly the Galvantula. Galvantula really scares me, and this is the only thing on my team that can really deal with its dual stabs. This is also a nice pivot into the Rotom Heat if that does end up coming. We obviously have Scald to break its sub now. Sludge Wave is honestly just for like Serena. It hits Wigglytuff, I suppose. And then stabs are honestly very good in this game too, and we're pretty offensively oriented in this matchup, so we should be able to be chunking things pretty heavily. But yeah, that's going to be the team. I will be right back with the match. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. We are connected with Dorian. Let's see what he ended up bringing. And yeah, I hope Jesus and Pokemon. I guess it is Sunday. He's not wrong, I guess. Well, let's see what he ended up bringing. Not expecting too much. We brought kind of just some random stuff, hoping for the best. Oh, he brought the Basculin. I did not prep for this at all. Let's go. So we have Komodo. No Rotom Heat, so our Stunfisk is like mega useless. That's cool. Mr. Mime. G. Basculin. Wiggly. Oh, I don't break Wiggly very well. Drapion. And AG. Okay, now right off rip, what do we want to lead off with? What puts us in the best position possible? I feel as if my lead of Zarude is pretty nice, honestly. It does invite in the Wiggles, which is a little bit annoying. Another possible lead I have is potentially just leading our Safali and getting off a Parting Shot. I don't want to... Pelipper leads well versus everything with Mr. Mime, and I don't want him to lead Mr. Mime, which is scary. We will lead Zarude, and then we can pivot into Stunfisk, worst comes to worst, against, you know, really anything, honestly. If he leads Drapion, whatever. If he leads... what do you call it? The Wiggly. We can pivot Stunfisk. Drapion, we have a pretty free, what do you call it? I'm totally blanking. We have a pretty free... Stunfisk, I guess. We also don't pivot into Drapion very well. Very nice. So let's see what we can do. What is going to be the Basculin? Okay. So what I want to do is I just want to throw off a Darkest Lariat, I think. We can't really set up on this thing, especially with the Wiggly still at full in the back, and I'd like to gauge damage on this thing, see if it's Scarf as well. It's obviously very, very good information for us to have. But I assume the Wiggles is going to come out right here. Him is going to be Drapion. I guess that's a fair pivot as well. So we're going to just go for our Darkest Lariat, showing us that we just do not have any coverage for that thing. It does not show us Black Sludge, which is also very good information. It can potentially be AV. It could be like a Sugar Berry set, something of the sorts. And yeah, let's go ahead and throw out our Stunfisk. I think it's our best pivot, and it's definitely our least useful member. That's for sure. Are we packing Defog on our Pelipper? We are, so if he wants to set up a T-Spike, we can get rid of that, which is pretty important for Winton's Rude in the back. Acupressure. That's super bad. Attack Rose sharply. Okay. I'm going to Earth Power. I didn't really prep for Acupressure Drapion. I'll keep it a buck with you guys. I did not. Good thing we have this sack piece right here. We shouldn't... Dude, if he has EQ, I think we die. Which is, like, super bad. Stunfisk to a Drapion at level 50. So he's going to stay in a knockoff. Do we live? We do. Give me a static. Give me a stat. No? Well, we're very offensive, so this may do enough. That's awesome. That's amazing for a Reuniclus endgame as well. That is amazing for a Reuniclus endgame. We will take that. Woo! Okay. That actually had me terrified. Like, legitimately terrified. If he goes Kama'o, we have to go into our Savali Fairy. I don't want to be foddered for that thing. As offensive as we are, Kama'o is a fat SOB. And there isn't much we can do to really break through that. Even with 140 modest, we are doing about 28% to an offensive, to a max HP Komodo. So like even if he's not bulky, we don't 2-hit KO him ever. So that means a potential +2, which means a potential video game. And we can still use this as a static fodder later on in the game, which is cool, against the Basculin. As feel my inner D-Ray coming out and going, static. Give me that yellow color, baby. As out comes Wiggles. Now, does this shit get Calm Mind? Does it get Calm Mind? Don't bring Wiggly stuff to a game, man. Disrespectful. Calm Mind, no. It doesn't. So if I were to go for an Earth Power to a Wigglytuff, that is a pretty spadef Wiggles right there, man. We're not doing that much, but what I can do is kind of Beta Para. I don't need this, and I kind of want to see what this thing is trying to do versus me. Is it Curse? I don't know, he could definitely be bringing some heat. And if you know me, you know I'm awful against that kind of stuff. So we'll see. He could get up his rocks here as well, which would be annoying, but again, I have Defog in the back. So he's just going to go for a Hyper Voice. What does that tell me? I don't have my AV anymore, but does that tell me anything? He's like max modest. Is he specs? Hold on. He has to be specs. He's 100% specs based on that damage. Which is pretty scary. Yeah, I have Feather Ducks. That's max modest damage. Okay. Pretty scary. With specs. That's a ridiculous amount of damage. How about our Reuniclus? Reuniclus can live a hit pretty easily. Another thing I could do is just go Pelipper and get a nice free U-turn. And get into our Kingdra and throw off a giant hit. Pelipper. Scald can potentially 2-hit KO though, which is also another thing. And then we have our Kingdra in the rain. I think I kind of just have to Scald this thing, unfortunately. I think that's by far my best play at this point in the game. He should be. He does seem like specs based on that damage, and yeah, that is a very offensive Wiggles. We should chew this though. Just pretty clean. I'm just gonna Hurricane. It'll cover a weird Komodo pivot. This actually opens up our endgame with Zarude, very much so. So I'll take it. I'll take it. Specs Wiggles, man. I claimed one. It did a lot to my range setter. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so we go for a Hurricane. I'm hoping that he goes hard out into Komodo. What is this? Buddy is the Mr. Rhyme. Oh, I wish I would have just scalded. The thing would have dropped. Interesting. Okay. Mr. Mime Galar. Let's say he's offensive, sure. At level 50. 2 hour. What do you call it? Our, Reuniclus. We can pivot him pretty easily on that thing. We will level +2 hit as well. If he does turn out to be, nasty, I mean, yeah, nasty plot. I think it's nasty plot, right? I also think it's Healing Wish, which is pretty scary. Freeze dry. Don't freeze me. Got frozen last week. Now part of me just wants to throw up a Trick Room. Do I want to give the Aegie a Trick Room, though? Not really. I'm just going to throw off a Shadow Ball. I think Shadow Ball is by far my best play at this point. I think he's going to switch out into maybe Aegislash? Wiggles. Okay. Could have Psychic there, but... So, if we have a Wigglytuff, and we have it with a max Modest nature... Modest at +1 because it is specs. Level 50. Shadow Ball. It does not kill us. Hyper Voice. Also does not kill us. I'm going to Trick Room up. Yeah, I'm going to Trick Room up. I think that's definitely the play in this instance. I could have also just Psychic this thing, but I want to force a kill on this thing, and then get a lot of damage off on Aegislash. Because I find that to be pretty advantageous at this point in the game. Hyper Voice, we live this, barring no crit. Okay. So that means, how many turns of Trick Room in particular do we have? We have 4. What I'm going to do is I'm going to recover on the pivot right here. He could try and just stay and spam Hyper Voice, but honest to God, that's fine. This thing is definitely specs, which is, again, really scary. And we have to keep in mind with our sub-Zarude that this thing needs to be in range of our Zarude at +1 in order for us to, you know, obviously knock it out so it doesn't revenge us with a Hyper Voice while we're sitting behind our sub. So he's going to just stay in. $167 down to 49. Okay. So he does not look like he's going to allow me to recover up. It's whatever. If he doesn't have Sneak on his Aegie, I can always Shadow Ball that to the next dimension. So Reuniclus is going to pick up a KO, which is nice. Unfortunately, the Wiggles is just putting on too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. And we'll at least get some damage, or, I mean, some information off on this Aegislash.
Aegislash. Let's go Aegislash both. With a nice and max HP at level 50. X-Blade, yeah, so let's see. Sneak. Sneak should kill us, like always. But regardless, I'm gonna throw off a Shadow Ball in case he does not have it. That's obviously really, really nice for us if he does. And we need to, okay, so he does have to sneak. It's fine. And let's see if he is Life Orb or not. Life Orb. He is not. So that means, let's go 252 Adamant. As I hope we don't DC here. That would be super garbage. Really suck. As I'm thinking I can go out into Zarude right here. Close combat does not kill me from a max Adamant Aegislash. Ever. Yeah, like ever. So. Provided we position ourselves in this endgame correctly, we should be fine. How many turns left do we have? And if he can't be banded, obviously, kill me. Because then, it's a bad spot. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to sub up. Because due to our citrus, we should always be in a range of health where we can have a sub. If he is close combat, we should live the hit. So he's going to, yeah, he's going to, what do you call it? He's going to try and stance change on us. So that's, I mean, yeah, King Shield, not stance change. Oops. So I'm going to sub up. Start bulking up. As the Twisted Dimensions return to normal. We're going to bulk up. Hopefully we can get, we're going to need 3 subs or proc our acro. +1 to A. Komodo. Level 50. He's not ridiculously defensive. Boom. With a working nature. This is a potential 2-hit KO, so I'm gonna go for it. Depending on his set, obviously. It is a 2-hit KO. So he's Salic. As I really hope this doesn't DC. I really hope this doesn't. Okay. I'm gonna acro again. He is pretty low. It's gonna Drain Punch. So let's see, a 252 Adamant Drain Punch to us from this range of health. He obviously is at +1, so he will outspeed us. It's fine though, because we should be able to 2-hit KO him. he brought the Komodo set that he 6-0 with last time. Ha ha ha. So from 147, a max Adamant Drain Punch is a max of 98. So my play is 100% to aggro. As we get that threat out of the way. Okay. I'm just gonna keep acroing. We subbed again. Unless he's like Endeavor or something like that. We should be mostly okay at this point in the game. So we should be able to live this hit pretty easily, get our citrus back up, which is very nice as well. So now our acros will be even stronger. We'll be at 115 HP. And we're going to be able to knock out the Komodo. Very nice. And let's see how much this does to a... well, we should kill everything on his team. At this point in the game, we should kill everything on his team. Do any of the Basculins get Swift Swim? They do not. Good information to have. Very good information to have. So if he goes into his Aegislash, if he goes into anything but Mr. Mime, I think I'm chilling. If Mr. Mime is Scarf, as it comes out, I feel like I don't want to risk that. Mime, Galar. He definitely knocks us out from here with Ice Beam. Freeze Dry is indeed a roll to kill us. It's a roll to kill us in my favor, but like, I think my play is to go into Pelipper, sack it off, getting Kingdra to break. Yeah. So let's get in our Rain Sweeper in case he is, what do you call it, this set? Freeze Dry, we had a chance to live that, but also if he's Scarf Bastion in the back too, that's very scary. So this should allow me into my Kingdra, even if you are Choice Scarf at level 50, my Kingdra in Zerain should never be outsped by you. No. There's legitimately no way we're maxed him. We're calling out all the stops. So maybe Kingdra will be able to pick up this game, depending on circumstances and stuff and things. I'm just gonna click Surf though. He does not have a switch into this Pokemon. Quick Claw. Are you kidding me? That's super garbage. Okay. Well. Welcome to the BBR. Welcome to the BBR. Wow. I think I lose now. Yeah, I think I lose now. That's really unfortunate to see. It's incredibly, incredibly unfortunate to see. That really frustrates me. But hey, his heat worked out. I'm not too happy about that, but obviously it's not his fault. He's just trying to have a good time. But I'm definitely very frustrated with that. I'll crunch just because it's a good middle ground. Catches the Aegislash. Quick Claw. Yeah. All right. That's Pokemon. I think we won. Yeah, I think we won. He didn't have the pieces. We won. That's so frustrating. That's so frustrating. Well, I hope he gives me this one. I mean, I hope he goes hard to Aegislash, actually. That would be, like, super clutch, and we could get, like, a defense drop. We DC. There's no way to create that. There's no... Okay, cool. I'll see what I can do. I'll be back. Alright, so after recreating, I'm going to record it right after the game because, you know, great idea, Owen. I'm not going to regret this whatsoever. Let's go ahead and, record our raw thoughts and, reactions after the game. So, obviously where I DC'd, you saw me, pretty upset, pretty distraught over the fact that he got some bullshit Quick Claw turn on me. Whatever, it's fine. There were still outs in this game. It was very grim for us, but there are still outs in this game. So I go into my Silvally, reason being I can't risk this Zarude losing the speed tie. I need it to win this game, and I can't kill the Basculin from full because I do not have Power Whip. So my play here is to go into Silvally and click Crunch, because it kills this, it puts this in range of multi-attack, and it chips the Aegislash down. It gets me a potential free switch into my Zarude, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to go into my Silvally. I'm going to click Crunch as he pivots Basculin, which is fair. And we're going to get a little bit of chip off on this thing. Now, he's going to click Ice Fang. I guess he expected me to go to my Root, even though I was 150% 2-hit KO'd in the rain. And if you Scarf, that was a super, super big choke. So my play was 100% staying on this thing, but so be it. I take a good 16 from that, and I knock it out with multi-attack. Great. Great positioning from here. So he's going to go into the Aegislash. We're going to go for a Crunch. It turns out to be Weakness Policy, which is very, very scary. If he was autotomized, then he would have clicked it in this specific instance, but I don't think he was, being that he just showed, he's shown Sneak, Shadow Ball right there, obviously, and King Shield. I'm assuming 4th move either Steel Coverage or Close Combat, or something like that. Sacred Sword even, sure. So right here, I am obviously forced into my Root. Now here's a bit of a 50-50s of sorts, as he can either King Shield up on me, trying to get the attack drop, or try and knock me out. I mean, yeah, no, his only play is to King Shield. His only play is to King Shield, because it just puts him in a really, really tough spot. But on the other hand, if I get behind a sub, I should be able to beat the Mr. Mime Galar, but obviously we don't know if we kill him from his spread. But regardless, I'm going to sub down right here. As he does end up going for the King Shield. So, hey, we get the play right, which is pretty sick. Really, really happy with that. We get the play right, being able to throw off this big Darkest Lariat, 62% off on this Aegislash. Fortunately, don't kill it, as it goes for a Shadow Ball, feeling it might be it's the best way to hit me. And it's going to go for a Shadow Snake, which does not pick me off, and I go into my, and click Darkest Lariat, which puts us in a position where we know this thing's item. It's Quick Claw. It's Quick Claw. So I'm going to be able to go in, and provided he doesn't get the, let's look it up. Quick Claw Pokemon. Quick Claw gives the user a 23% chance for going first in this priority bracket. So it's about a 77% chance for us to break through and win this game. But of course, on the 2 turns that are needed, he breaks through with a Quick Claw, and we go down and we lose the game. That's just our BBR season, guys. One that pretty much eliminates us from playoff contention, which is really unfortunate. As you can see me getting super salty. I'm still very upset. So, great live reactions. But not only is that, like, just the BBR for this game and, ending our playoff chances, that's just the BBR in general for us, again, unfortunately, this season. I'm really not upset with how I played this entire season. I think we played great. We should be a firmly cemented playoff, team if we didn't get BS'd out of a bunch of wins. There were a couple teams that obviously beat us fair and square, pretty convincingly, being Seabad tossed us around week 1. He brought a really cool team. And then JV last week definitely beat us, of his own skill and merit. But this is another one of those games where I just get fucked. I don't know what to say other than that's the BBR. And that's probably going to be the title of this video. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you all enjoyed my unbridled rage at how garbage Mons is, and I'm sure the people who played against me this week enjoyed it even more, as they're probably cackling in their chairs. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.